It's a week before the governing party's National Elective Conference. Party President Cyril Ramaphosa is yet to know his fate with the party. The ANC's Integrity Commission is expected to release its report on the Phala Phala farm saga to the party's NEC today. The Integrity Commission has met with President Cyril Ramaphosa twice after the Section 89 panel found that he may have a case to answer over the theft at his game farm. eNCA senior reporter Siphamandla Goge is following this story and joins us now from Nasrec. Siphamandla, most South Africans will be focusing on one issue to come out of today's NEC, and that is that Integrity Commission report. However, the NEC does have other matters on its agenda. Tell us what they have been seized with so far today.
Absolutely. There are two important reports that many people are waiting for, and that is the report on President Cyril Ramaphosa over Phala Phala. There is another report that was expected to be presented by the Integrity Commission on Dr. Zweli Mkhize, who is the ANC's NEC member, also vying for the party's top job during the party's National Congress in 7 days' time from now. But apart from those reports that were expected to be tabled during the course of the afternoon, the NEC meeting has been seized with matters of logistics and the state of readiness for the upcoming National Congress. They've been dealing with the issue of logistics, trying to get a sense of the progress report regarding the preparedness for that elective Congress, which will take place next week. And they also had to deal with the country's crippling challenges of energy. I'm talking about Eskom in this regard. Stage 6 load shedding downgraded to stage 5. Be that as it may, the NEC meeting had to deal with that matter because it's embarrassing for the ANC. Their NEC members have been making statements about Eskom, others saying the way load shedding is being implemented is tantamount to basically trying to topple the governing party, getting the governing party out of power. Those words have been attributed to the national chairperson of the ANC, Gwere Mantashe, who is also, by the way, the energy minister. So today, Gwere Mantashe, national chairperson, as well as Pravin Gordhan, ANC NEC member, deployed to government as minister responsible for public enterprises, had to present on Eskom crisis and what needs to be done to deal with that. Let's take a listen to Pule Mabe.
Cadres of the ANC who are deployed in government are also serving in the National Executive Committee, especially those that are deployed to deal public enterprise who deals with Eskom as well as energy. The national chair is the Minister of Minerals and Energy, Mineral Resources and Energy, and their comrade Pravin is the Minister of Public Enterprises, which oversees SOEs, including Eskom. So we did receive a brief on what is happening. The National Executive Committee will reflect on those challenges that are currently being faced by the power utility and pronounce themselves on the decisive actions required by our government so that we can give the people of South Africa certainty that we are dealing with the issue of generation permanently. We are dealing with the issue of energy security across permanently. So as you came in, National Executive Committee members were expected to start that discussion. They've already received a report, we'll reflect on that, and by the time we rise as the NEC, we'll be able to communicate a message that must not just give our people hope, but must also outline the steps that we are undertaking.
Siphamandla, while there are, as you have said, a number of other important issues the NEC is dealing with today, is there also a sense of urgency to deal with this Integrity Commission report? And while I let you answer that, you can tell us about the commotion in the background, 2 vehicles arriving. You can tell us what exactly is happening at the moment there.
ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa seemingly leaving the ANC NEC meeting here. His motorcade has just pulled out here. I've seen him going inside the main car. His motorcade is about to leave. My colleague Teddy Myemban is showing you those live visuals of ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa leaving the NEC meeting, which I think it's underway. I could assume that this simply means that the NEC has received a report of of the Integrity Commission. It could be that he has been asked to excuse himself because the meeting is dealing with him. Let's see what transpires as he leaves, but it could be that the ANC NEC meeting is now engaging on the report that may have been presented by the Integrity Commission, because usually that's how they do it. When they are discussing a matter that has got to do with you or that affects you, they kindly ask you to excuse yourself. So we see the motorcade of the president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, leaving Nasrec. The meeting is still underway. I see another motorcade here of Deputy President David Mabuza is pulling by. Very soon we could see David Mabuza, who's the Deputy President of the ANC, coming out. I see his motorcade is making its way, and that's the main car. It's the presidential motorcade because they got stickers of the Presidential Protection Unit. So on the matter of Phala Phala, we expect that the Integrity Commission was going to present its report. Let me see if we can get closer here. Security will not allow us to get closer. We'll try and make a move. Please pardon Teddy as he's moving towards this motorcade here. I want to show you these visuals of ANC officials. The president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, has left Nasrec. He has left the meeting of the NEC. I see the motorcade of the deputy president ready to take him away. We will find some, or rather we will be trying to get some explanation from Pulemabe, the spokesperson, as to about the status of the meeting. But I have not seen many ANC NEC members leaving the meeting venue, which means that the meeting could still be underway. What I'm reporting now,
apologies to interrupt. As a point of interest,
is happening.
If the president has left the meeting, as you say, possibly because they are now discussing that Integrity Commission report, which, as you say, we are yet to confirm, do we then also expect Dr. Zweli Mkhize to leave that meeting while they discuss elements of the Integrity Commission report dealing specifically with the digital vibes scandal?
Absolutely. If that report on Dr. Zweli Mkhize has been presented, the expectation is that the NEC meeting may ask him to recuse himself because they will have to engage with the report. Remember, the way these reports are presented, they are presented to the NEC so that the NEC could note them and engage with them and take a decision on those reports. They must discuss the report and they must resolve on the report and decide what to do with the report. So if that report on Dr. Zweli Mkhize over the digital vibe scandal would have been presented, we may see him being asked to excuse himself so that members of the NEC can engage with that report. I see the Provincial Secretary of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, Peggy Mtolo, going back inside the meeting venue. Those are some of the NEC members that are outside. I think I see Mamologo Kubai, who's the chairperson of the subcommittee on economics there, going back, or economic transformation rather, going back inside. So yes, to answer your question, we may or we could see Dr. Zweli Mkhize leaving this meeting if the report of the Integrity Commission would have been tabled and he would have been asked to excuse himself. But what is confusing for me currently is to see the top officials of the ANC, including Deputy President David Mabuza's motorcade, about to leave. I do not know what that means, whether it signals the fact that the meeting is over. We will find some explanation from those who speak on behalf of the ANC, but I can confirm that ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa has just left the meeting.
Siphamandla, can you tell us, you were telling Dan Moyane a little bit earlier that there seems to be a sense of delay in dealing with this Integrity Commission report. Can you explain that to us?
The main reason we have seen these delays in terms of months, it's simply because the ANC NEC's Integrity Commission has had to wait for ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa to come back to it. They have met with him for about 2 times or twice, if I'm not mistaken. So therefore, it took some months after their first meeting for him to go back to them and then decide to engage with them. We were told by our sources before that there was some sort of frustration and somehow anger from members of the Integrity Commission who felt that the president was taking time to engage with them, yet this scandal is damaging to the ANC. So it took so long for the ANC's Integrity Commission to come up with their final draft, that is the report, simply because they had to give the president of the ANC time to engage with them, to come engage with them. First instance, it appears that they were not happy with his submissions. It is alleged or reported that he attended the meetings with his legal representatives, and some members of the Integrity Commission were not happy with that, saying, you are the deployee of the ANC, you've been summoned by the structure of the ANC to come and account. We do not need your lawyers. This is not a court case. You are not obliged to bring your lawyers. Come and engage with the ANC. What happened during the theft at Phala Phala? It appears that the first meeting broke down. There was another meeting which took months, and just during the policy conference of the ANC in July, members of the Integrity Commission were still working on their draft report. So it appears that over months they've been able to conclude their report, which they were expected to present here at the NEC meeting today. That's why it took so long to present that report, or should I say, to come up with the final draft of that report.
And Siphamandla, in terms of dealing with this Integrity Commission report today, is there a sense that there is an urgency on the part of the NEC to deal with this before next week's elective Congress? Or do you get the sense that some members will want to try and delay having to make a decision on the recommendations within that report so as to allow the elective Congress to take place before having to act and perhaps then influencing the results of that Congress?
That's the difficulty that the ANC NEC meeting will be seized with. What do you do with this report? You cannot prolong taking action and dealing with it for long. It's long overdue, long awaited. At some point there has to be finality on this matter. But our sources are telling us that political allies of the president are of the view that this report should be delayed at all costs, so that they go to the National Congress, and once they are done with the National Congress, you can deal with it later on, to such an extent that we hear political allies of the president telling us that, listen, no matter the findings of the report, which they expect may be negative against the president, they say already the president must contemplate taking that on appeal within the ANC structures. But where it gets complicated is there are guidelines that were drafted by Mr. Kgalema Motlanthe, which basically advocate for a situation whereby any member who has received a negative finding from the Integrity Commission is entitled and does have his rights to take it on appeal. But during that process, that person must be on step aside. So that's where the difficulty is, and you get a sense that President Ramaphosa's political allies are trying by all means to have a situation and a scenario whereby this report will be delayed so that they go to the conference next week, and after next week, when he is here, if he is re-elected, then they are hoping to deal with the matter politically. Our sources are telling us that they are even contemplating delaying that decision here, or rather the resolution of the NEC at this meeting, so that they can defer the report. Today they may note it and ask for it to be deferred to the last NEC meeting of the ANC next week, and that meeting will be dealing with the final logistics and preparations of the National Conference, and they are hoping that if it's deferred to the last NEC meeting, when they get to next week, they can argue that no, the main priority is the conference. Let's put this aside. The new NEC that will come in, that will be elected during the conference, will deal with the report when they assume office. We are told by our sources that that is their political strategy.